What's up, everybody? On our play for this week, was Switch 2 actually at Gamescom 2023 under everyone's nose? Hmm? Sony has increased the prices for all their PS Plus subscription. Is it time to cancel? Oh no. Does Xbox have something big for Tokyo Game Show 2023? DJ, that is me, has burned Rubicon in Armor Core 6 and saved Zelda in Tears of Kingdom. Find out more. All this and more on Season 7, Episode 35 of Press X Star Gamers Digest. I say digest weird. Say digest versus digest. It's how I'm ending that word. I'll work on it. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka the Fire of Raven, aka the Savior of Hyrule. I am joined by
Sean MF Ross.
What does the EMF stand for?
DJ too much spit in your mouth. Nah,
Oh,
I don't know. Sorry.
I told you that in confidence, Sean.
Oh, you know what? I was more thinking disc jockey, not DJ. Not Donald.
I see what you did there. Yes, I also knew that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's us. Now you know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's important. You'll find out later. Don't forget to support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are tuned in on. If you'd like to join our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. Thanks in advance. All right, now that that's all out the way and you know who we are and what this is, let us jump into the gaming news, starting with number one. Nintendo demoed Switch 2 to developers at Gamescom. This comes from Eurogamer.net by way of Tom Phillips. So, from the article. In Clone last month, Nintendo's public Gamescom show floor booth let you play Pikmin 4 and Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But behind the scenes, the company had more up their sleeves. Developer presentations for Switch 2 took place behind closed doors, Eurogamer understands, with partners showing tech demos for. I am very poppy. I'm sorry, Marcus. Where was I? With partners showing tech demos for how the system is designed to run. One Switch 2 demo is a souped up version of Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, designed to hit Switch 2's beefier target specs. To be clear, though, it is just a tech demo. There's no suggestion that the game will be re-released. To go beyond this article, I believe they also showed the Matrix tech demo for Unreal 5, and both looked really, really good. Apparently, this Switch 2 thing has what is it? DS.
What is it? DLSS.
Yes, that's what it is. I was gonna say something completely different. So that's good. Like this is all stuff. This kind of confirms the rumors that we talked about before about how the Switch 2 was supposed to hit like the PS4/Xbox One, I guess, tech range. So this kind of lines up with that. This is great. I think this kind of goes back into our conversation a little bit about the last Nintendo Direct. Actually, I didn't put this on the show notes, but there's supposed to be a rumor that we're getting another Direct this week coming up. So that could actually add more information to this whole Switch 2 thing. Don't know. It'd be kind of early for them to talk about that. Maybe. It's yeah, probably. Maybe after Mario Wonder they'd start talking about Switch 2. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm interested in getting this when it comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play my Switch religiously anymore like I used to when I first got it, but I mean, I feel like the quality of their exclusives warrants getting the next Switch console, whatever they may call it. I mean, as we were talking about before offcast, yeah, we're getting Super Mario Brothers Wonder in October, I believe it is. But if it took them this long And I'm guessing they took elements from Super Mario Maker 1 and 2, and kind of figured out what people were doing with their, creator levels and what have you. And they came up with this, new 2D game. I'm only imagining what they're cooking up for the next 3D thing, because Mario Odyssey came out in 2017, and
Absolutely.
what's that? 6 years? Yeah, 6 years before that. The last thing we had was Super Mario World, which was 4 years prior to
Oh,
that. And then
so it's
before
been a
that,
really long time since we've
yeah,
had a little
before that it
3D.
was
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy. That was '07. That was 6 years, another 6 year gap.
Jesus.
So
Yeah.
I would imagine that's the reason why we didn't see a 3D Mario, is to not take thunder away from Wonder. And as we were trying to guess what they would launch with, because I mean we just got Tears of the Kingdom, so a new Zelda game is far far out of range. So the next
Yep.
logical pillar that would bring everybody on board, because I don't think they could launch with a Pokemon game. That's not going to bring
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the kids and the adults. Super Mario is universal. I think we're due for that, and maybe another Mario Kart game, probably like 6 months to a year after that.
Yeah, for sure. There's a Nat that's trying to get into this conversation.
Um,
Yeah, like I totally agree with that. I think looking at the Nintendo slate of games, the only other thing that I could probably think of would be like a Donkey Kong, but I don't even think that has the same reach as Mario. I mean, of course it doesn't. But like we might get I mean, it's possible that we get a Donkey Kong like in between Mario Wonder and the new
yeah,
Switch too, like like sometime next year. But yeah, I definitely think like if you need a heavy hitter to launch with a console, a Nintendo console especially, you go Mario. Like you can't fail with Mario.
I don't see any other big first party bombs dropping on the Switch One, uh, unless it's going to be backwards compatible. But
Yeah,
if it's true that it's going to launch with, I highly doubt it's going to be power comparable to the Xbox Series X and PS5. But
absolutely not. Yeah,
I
no.
mean, if it's, let's call it PS4 Pro, maybe
Yeah,
Xbox One X level of power,
yeah,
I wouldn't complain. I mean, they're never trying to be. They stopped trying to be on the power curve with Sony and Microsoft way back with the GameCube. So
yep, yep. Yeah, I
they're just
think
gonna do their own thing.
yeah, I totally agree. I think like they're not even worried about like having their new console being compared to
Yeah,
the PS5 and Xbox Series platforms. I think for sure they're just making sure that they have a more powerful console to run
yeah.
their games and hopefully avoid like the um we got comments in the chat talking we're talking too long. Hey, look, this is what you come for. You come here for us to talk about games. That's what you're
Did you
doing.
come for us to talk or to hear us strip?
So yeah, I definitely agree that this has to be a Mario. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Number two, new interview with Zelda boss suggests that there's no plans for Tears of the Kingdom DLC. This comes from Nintendo Life. I'm just going to jump to the end. I totally agree. That is okay. This article comes by way of Jim Norman. So the actual quote from Anuma reads, "There are no plans to release additional content this time, but that's because I feel like we've done everything we can to create fun in that world. In the first place, the reason I decided to make this sequel to make this sequel, nope, there's an A in there. Make this a sequel to the previous work was because I thought there was more. Let's just reset. Let's just start the whole week over.
It'll be
Okay.
okay.
All right. I decided to make this a sequel to the previous work because I thought there was value in experiencing a new game in that Hyrule place. If that's the case, if a new reason arises, we might return to the same world again. Whether it's a sequel or a new work, I think it's going to be a completely new game. So I hope you are looking forward to that. So essentially, Anuma is saying, yeah, we've put all the ideas in Tears of the Kingdom that we can, and we're pretty much done with this world. We're done with this version of Zelda and
Until
Link.
yeah,
And yeah, and it's like I totally I'm okay. As I said in the start of this cast, I just beat Tears of the Kingdom, and like the way that game ends is just like perfect, sort of perfect. But we'll get there. Yeah, like, and I look back at Breath of the Wild. I
Yeah,
didn't beat that.
you
I don't
should.
think. Yeah, at this point, I feel like it's too late. I just it's too. Anyways, like I feel like there probably wasn't a sequel in mind at that time.
Hmm.
And the reason why a sequel was even thought about was because of all the people playing around in that physics engine and doing different things. And that probably sparked an idea from a Newman team for them to be like, oh, we should actually use this stuff and make a sequel. Like it could be very, very beneficial for us. And that's what they did. So I think like he's like leaving space that, if there's ideas that come from whatever time passes between now and the next Link or Zelda game. It could be Tears of the Kingdom 2, or it could be something completely new.
Here's the thing: they have so many things going on in Tears of the Kingdom. What
Yes.
could you add as DLC at this point?
That's my thing.
That wouldn't break the game.
Like nothing. Nothing. You've there's essentially in my mind there's nothing that they can add other than like improving the actual combat, and it's just like I just make a new game that has improved combat. Like treat combat for Link a little differently or something. Like give him a bit more features or whatever. But like, yeah, got me, got me.
Uh, I just know the next Zelda game is gonna have all the people who jumped on for the first time with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, where's this mechanic? It was better when they had
Yep,
this. Where's it?
yep,
Why does he? They may
yep.
not understand the whole
Yeah.
storyline.
Actually, now that you said it, I would imagine the next Zelda game will probably not look like Breath of the or Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Although, actually, no, because they did say that when Tears of the Kingdom launched, they said that this is going to be the new format for Zelda
Hmm.
going forward. So yeah, whatever. They can easily just lie to our faces. Yeah, they've done that before in the past.
Oh,
It's
that's so bees.
not nothing new. All right, number three. Time to cancel PlayStation Plus as Sony quietly raises prices through the roof. That specifically comes from Forbes. We're not really gonna jump to that article because really and truly, I just wanted to read that headline. So the
Here's the thing.
actual
Here's the thing.
go ahead, go
No, no,
ahead, go
no.
ahead.
First of all, go ahead and read off the prices.
Okay. So the actual prices that the new prices, I should say, are for PlayStation Plus Essential, the 12-month subscription will now be $79.99. That is a $40 increase, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what
Not 20.
Essentials was. 20? Okay, okay.
It used to be 60.
Uh PlayStation Plus Extra is now $134.99, which
It used to
is
be
not
100. 99,
yeah,
99, whatever. So they added $35.
right. And then PlayStation Plus Premium is now 159.99, basically 160.
It used to be
So
120. Yeah.
yeah. So pretty much a $40 price increase for these subscription plans. Uh the other thing to note about this is when this was actually uh told to us by PlayStation, was through their blog, was for September, talking about the September PlayStation Plus games. And the games that was paired with this announcement was pretty much just
Yeah.
not a good showing from PlayStation in terms of, hey, look, these are games that you want to spend your money on. So first up, you have Saints Rose, and if you remember the last Saints Rose game, which is the game that you're getting right now,
Hmm.
is did not do well at all in any respect. Then you get Black Desert, the Travelers Edition,
Oh,
which
wow.
yeah, it's cool, but Black Desert is already a free to play game, so the Travelers Edition is just like the like a little pack that you get, but you're still gonna end up having to pay money eventually. And then Generation Zero, which is a game that we saw some years ago and kind of just dropped off the face of the map. So if you remember that game, you were excited for that game, and if you have PlayStation Plus, it's all you. It's all you, buddy. You might be the only one in that lobby. Um, so yeah, overall, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
here's the thing. Yes, they raised the prices.
Hmm.
It is arguable that Game Pass is quote unquote the best deal in gaming. I will give
Hmm.
that to whoever. Value is relative. Value is subjective. Game Pass Ultimate, which I guess most people have, is $16.99 a month. Multiply that times 12 is still more expensive than the PS Plus Premium, whatever the hell it was, top tier, which comes out to like $200, $203 for the year. Granted, you could get normal Game Pass just for console, and it's only $10.99 a year, which is
Hmm.
I'm sorry, $10.99 a month, which comes out to $131 and some change.
Hmm.
Yes, you still get Starfield with the base Game Pass tier. You still get your day one exclusives for the time being. Um, Access to those. Once again, value is still subjective.
Yeah.
Is there anything you see on? You know what? I'm not even gonna say that about Xbox. I'm gonna say, is there anything that you see on Game Pass that you want to play? But we're not gonna go down that road. We waxed poetic with that shit with
Hmm.
Jordan many times. Um, as what was this Paul Tassi who said this? Oh, Eric Kane.
Uh,
It was Eric Kane who did
yeah.
this. Um,
Yes.
Unfortunately, at some point they probably had to do this. We couldn't keep getting cheap things for long. Netflix raised their subscription price, or they're adding ads to the cheaper subscription tiers. I don't know what's the last place to do it. I think Disney Plus is raising their stuff at some point. Like,
Well,
go ahead.
specifically on PlayStation, they're
Mm-hmm.
saying so this is from the blog post.
Mm-hmm.
We also wanted to let you know that starting September 6th, we'll be increasing the price of PlayStation Plus 12-month subscription globally across all benefit plans.
Yeah.
This price adjustment will enable us to continue bringing high quality games and value added benefits to your PlayStation Plus subscription service. I think that's where, for me, anyways, that's where it gets kind of weird because it's like, all right, well, high quality games, sure, I understand that, but
Yeah.
value added benefits, it's like, okay, what is the actual,
They should
what
have
new are we
announced
getting
more
with this?
tangible things along with this price increase, or at
Yeah,
least waited till they had a better month of games, to announce this with. So I mean,
yeah,
this does feel crummy in a fall season.
yeah, absolutely. But like again, just to go back to what you're saying, like it for me, this seems like they are biting the bullet right now, knowing that when Spider-Man 2 comes out, it's going to be such a big hit that people are going to buy this game. People are going to sign up for PlayStation Plus because, inevitably that is just what you do when you buy a console. Like you look at the subscription plan, like, oh, these are a bunch of games. Sure, I'll sign up.
Yeah,
Oh, it's now 100, or it's not even now. It's like, oh, it's 100 and something dollars. All right, sure. I'll give it a shot for a month, and then they forget about it, and then boom, they're
yeah.
getting money from that. So it's like I get it from the business side, but yeah, as a consumer, just doesn't this doesn't feel good, especially knowing that like PlayStation, we really haven't seen too much from their first party studios.
Yeah.
Like the thing we're getting this year is Spider-Man 2, but beyond that, really and truly, Final Fantasy 16 was the last like exclusive that PlayStation got. It's really just been coasting essentially. So it's like, give us a showcase,
It,
Sony.
it it's crazy how quickly we consume games now because years past we would have eaten with Final Fantasy for months. We would have
That's
eaten
true.
with Street Fighter for months, Spider Man for months. Now it's people are trying to rush to get through this shit in a weekend and platinum it and
Mm-hmm.
on to the next. We have
Mm-hmm.
yes, they raised the price, but I mean they have a truckload of good shit to play on there, and
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
For people to say it's not worth it is, I mean, that's subjective. I think that's my only
Exactly.
thing is people make it seem like that's just that's just a definitive fact that is
Yeah,
not worth it at all to anybody.
yeah.
And I mean,
I will, before we move on, I will say that like I think the conversation about this kind of kind of ekes back to like, oh, they're raising their price. Like it's not worth it, but they kind of say that in the same way as like if Game Pass would release or increase their price and say like it's not
yeah,
worth it. It's like, all right, guys, like apples to apples. There are better games on PlayStation Plus than there are Game Pass right
that
now.
you have all of their single player exclusives as a backlog that you can go
Yeah,
to. And if you're
exactly.
only buying Game Pass to play exclusives on day one that come out far and few between, you're really spending more money in the long run versus just purchasing Starfield and I don't even know the last major exclusive they had. Forza?
The last major exclusive they had, yes, that was successful was Forza, and
Because
then there
Halo
was
was
also
free.
Redfall. They
Um,
had, yeah,
could you imagine being pissed off if people bought Redfall on day one without Game Pass? I mean, once again, value is subjective,
yeah,
but we neither
yeah.
here nor
That
there.
also
Whatever.
just wasn't a good game. So yeah, it's definitely a thing of like this sucks, but it just could be a thing of PlayStation know that whoever leaves their market or whoever leaves the
Yeah,
subscription plan, it's not going to necessarily affect them too much because one, they'll be making extra money off of everyone who stays,
they've done the
and
numbers. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and of course, and like more than likely, this this whole announcement is in the blog post. It was buried under the free games. Like it's being talked about, but it's not being like
yeah.
publicized. So
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that price increase goes to the budget for licensing better games.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, Sony as a whole may be making, let's say, 3 billion last year. All of that doesn't go into one bucket to be spent by, you know, one specific arm of the company. Everything
right,
is sectioned out and what have you. But
yeah. Jim needs to buy his shirts. Where's he getting that money from, guys? Us.
next
Us.
story, sir. Next story.
All right. Before we get into ReedPop and ESA having a little trouble in a relationship. Hey, you. How you doing? Subscribe. Do it. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Just subscribe. No, I should tell you what to do because that's proper manners. All right. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. Beyond that, you can join our Discord at pressxnumber2start.com/Discord. Beyond that, if you are listening, shame on you. Should be watching. But if you are listening, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you are currently tuned in on. And after that, you can get back to the show. All right. Number 4. ReedPop and ESA part ways over E3. This comes from GamesIndustry.biz. Where is this article? Right there. All right. So this comes by way of Christopher Dring. So yeah, this sucks for ESA for E3, but everyone else is kind of like, yeah, we kind of figured this was going to happen. So
Writing's on the
PAX
wall.
organizer ReedPop will not be working on future E3 events. The company and the ESA have announced. The ESA has also informed the Los Angeles Convention Center, which is a traditional home of E3, that it will not be putting on a show on. It will not be putting a show on there. Not be putting on a show on there. Anyways, there will be no show in 2024. The ESA has not canceled plans for a 2024 event, but if one was to go ahead, it won't take place at that venue. GameIndustry.biz understands that the trade body, is also working on a complete reinvention for the E3 show for 2025. ReedPop, which is also the parent company of GameIndustry.biz, has signed a multi-year deal for E3 in 2023. However, the first effort to relaunch the event failed to get off the ground, and the plan for 2023 show was canceled. The decision to end the relationship was a mutual decision. So, yeah, I mean, this
I
isn't
would say bring
surprising.
it over to DC, but I don't want all that traffic over here.
I mean, I would love it. I think that would be a great idea. Bring it to the DC Convention Center. Come on, like we need an E3. We need some kind of big gaming thing. Do it. Do it, ESA. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but just do it anyway. Like this is,
Hmm.
I'm left. Um, what's the word? Nonchalant about this. It's like, all right, I kind of figure that the ReedPop thing didn't work, seeing how they canceled this year's E3,
Yeah.
and of course, Jeff Keighley is out there crushing it. I think when this was posted, Jeff Keighley made a tweet about you can expect Summer Games Fest next year, 2024, at X time, and so on and so forth. And it's just like, hey man, he's doing
The
what he's supposed to
shade
do. Like, yeah. I mean, but then again, like it's like I feel like he's gonna keep doing this until E3 is officially dead
in the
in the
ground.
ground. Yeah. So it's
I
just like,
mean, what did they do to him for him to be doing these victory laps and gloating like this? I
bro,
wonder.
like, whatever that conversation was.
Are we gonna
Oh
see
my
like
gosh.
a documentary on Netflix like 2 3 years from now, like the life and death of E3?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's going on behind the scenes. Why they can't get their stuff together?
Yeah. I mean, and this is pure speculation, but I figure it's just a old company
Mm.
just not being flexible enough to move
Uh,
in the current industry. Yeah,
the
because like
blockbuster
them talking
versus
about,
Netflix type shit.
yeah, like them talking about a reinvention for E3 show 2025. I definitely think it's gonna be a digital thing. Like it's either gonna be a digital thing or they're gonna
Yeah,
try to do like a PAX type of event where it is like more player focused because that's what they were trying to do before.
yeah.
They were trying to they're trying to blend the like industry people with the fans and stuff, and it just didn't really work out. So I feel like digital is probably the best way for them to go, and that would also probably save them a lot of money. And I
I
think
mean,
it's
I
probably one of
get
the
it.
issues here.
Why would the gaming companies, the publishers, and all that want to
Exactly.
pay for floor space, which was hella expensive, and you're fighting for eyes.
Yep.
Everybody's being shown stuff at the same time. Yeah, they had their separate, secret meetings to show off things in like other rooms. But I mean, at this point, for Jeff Keighley, he's getting his money from the advertisers. They're showing their stuff. I'm not gonna say for free, but
Hmm.
they're working up something where it's more financially viable with Jeff Keighley. So
Yep.
uh,
Yeah.
yes, they got to figure out something.
Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. Like I think the the key behind Jeff Keighley stuff and why it works so well is that he's not he's asking for different parts of PlayStation, different parts of Xbox to show at his thing.
Yeah,
Whereas E3, they were like, okay, PlayStation, you put on a show. Ubisoft, you put on a show. Xbox, you put on a show. And this is when you guys are going to put on the show.
yeah.
So it became a thing of like, all right, well, now we got to figure out all these extra things instead of having our developers continue working on the games. And it's like, I get,
Yeah, then they were pulling out vertical slices for the journalists to play and all that stuff. Yeah, that takes more
yep,
time.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, there's definitely a benefit to that because even in the summer Games Fest and in that whole showing, they had like demos and stuff for games that the journalists and stuff could play. But I don't know. I just figure that Jeff just probably has a different formula that is just working a lot better than whatever ESA could come up with. So yep,
Mm.
that's that. I guess we'll see in 2025 what ESA has for us. But what Starfield has for its play, I don't know, it's bad transition, whatever.
Check
So
this.
Starfield hits 1 million concurrent players. This comes from Phil Spencer's tweet, X, Phil
X
Spencer's
gonna give it
X.
to you.
Yeah, that's still a really just dumb thing by Elon Musk. Anyways, Starfield exceeds 1 million concurrent players across all platforms. Thanks to all the players who helped us reach this great milestone, and congrats to the Bethesda studio. No, Bethesda GameWorks studio.
PlayStation
Anyways,
is
Bethesda
better.
studio.
So no, no. I'm actually glad for them because they needed they needed this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A healthy competition is good for the devs and the consumer because steel sharpens steel, as they say, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. I just wish Sony didn't try to make it exclusive. Maybe we'd be able to play it. Microsoft wouldn't have
Yeah.
pulled the trigger, just bought the whole goddamn studio. But then
So
again, but then again, it would have released last year, and it would have been as good a game as it is now. So I mean,
that's
it is
exactly
what
where
it
I'm
is.
at. I feel like if Starfield released in the Bethesda being a third party
Yeah,
situation, I think it would have either probably still been delayed and probably came out more buggy versus what we have now. Like I just think like this is probably the best scenario
but people don't mind the
for
bugs, so I don't think that would have been a detriment
let's
necessarily.
people don't mind the bugs, but the reviewers are going to mind the
I
bugs.
mean, they just
It's
take
like
that with that.
Bethesda
That's just
jank
a thing. Yeah,
stuff.
that's just a thing you just accept when
Yeah,
you're playing these type of games. Um,
yeah.
I wonder what they spent the year polishing and what they spent the year fixing.
Probably bug fixing. Like if I were to guess, it was bug fixing. Because like the fact that you're dealing with a procedurally generated world, like you're dealing with a lot of variables that you can't necessarily test a lot of
Plan.
the
Yeah.
times. Yeah, so it's just like they're probably polished it as much as they could. But like, man, I wish we had Jordan on now to talk about this. But like, um,
We don't have an
listening
extra
to
hour, DJ.
you're right. You're right. Listening to some of the like chatter now that's coming from Starfield, like people are kind of running into problems with either like different bugs that are happening, like things
Yeah.
kind of just spazzing out. But on the flip side, people are also not necessarily jiving with the story or like they feel like it's kind of weak or the writing's not good and basically
Yeah.
just running into a lot of issues. I feel like part of this happens because Boulder Gate hit when it did, and Boulder Gate 3 is just so good in terms of
Yeah.
its writing and like its character work. So a lot of people are unfortunately comparing Starfield with Boulder Gate. And it's like they're both RPGs, but they're different RPGs. So it's just like I
I've
don't
heard the comparison of although you can choose different things in Starfield, you still know the outcome of what you're choosing, what it's gonna
yeah,
be. With Baldur's Gate, there's a ton of different solutions to things, and you don't know where it's gonna end up down the road.
yeah, for sure. Like there's yeah, and I think that is ultimately I mean, it's kind I don't want to say it's unfair to Bethesda, but
Hmm.
it's like they didn't plan for that. Like they I think in their minds when they were making this game or whatever, they didn't imagine that this game would be compared to Baldur's Gate because it's just like, well, it's a different RPG. Like we're doing like an action like Western RPG where you're fighting in space, and Baldur's Gate is a like D and
High
D,
fantasy.
yeah, high fantasy like CRPG, which is like computer RPG, and it's just like, why is this comparison being made, guys? But yeah, it's
Because
unfortunate for them.
Larian did a bang up job,
They
unfortunately.
did,
Well, not
they did.
unfortunately, but I think they were able to polish more things just because it was in early access.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, totally agree. Um, but yeah, like overall, still like great job, Bethesda. Great job for getting the 1 million concurrent players. And this tweet was tweeted September 6th. So today's the 10th, so that was 4 days ago. So hopefully they're still there. Hopefully they're hovering around there at some point or some
Yeah,
variable.
I've
Yeah.
heard this game will be memeable for the next decade. So,
And of
uh,
course, like because it's being a Bethesda game, they're going to support this for the long haul. So it's only going to get better in the future.
you thought Skyrim got re-released a few times.
Oh, you wait for the Starfield on your Google Home. All right, number 7. Xbox Digital Broadcast at TGS, that is Tokyo Game Show 2023, is set for September 21. This is from Gematsu by way of what website is loading?
Sal Romano.
Sal Romano. Yeah, there we go. So, okay. Microsoft will host the Xbox Digital Broadcast at Tokyo Game Show 2023 on September 21 at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is
Damn.
the best standard time. and 18. What?
Japan Standard
GST?
Time, you
Yeah,
sucker. That's
I
6
know, I
o'clock
know.
Japan Standard Time.
There you go. Look at him doing the math that he needs to do because I just couldn't do it in my head while speaking it. All right. The broadcast will share progress updates on games from Xbox Game Studio and Bethesda Softworks, which is very interesting, as well as a creatively diverse collection of games from creators predominantly located in Japan and Asia. The announcements of new games coming to Xbox. Oh, and announcements of new games coming to Xbox Game Pass. So this has the
um,
potential of
yeah.
being a really interesting show for Xbox. But I think that might be being a little bit too optimistic of what the actual showing will be.
So I'm thinking they're gonna show Avowed, or is Avowed out already?
No, it's not out yet.
Okay, so I'm thinking they're gonna probably show Avowed. I'm looking at like upcoming games.
No.
Outer Worlds 2, Gears 5, Senua's Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. Um,
So Hellblade got delayed to next
again?
year. So yeah, it got delayed to next year because it's
Well,
not
not
coming out this
again.
year.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Um.
Arc.
Oh, they're not going to show art. See, like
You don't think
this is
so?
where I get this is where it's interesting because I think
Mm-hmm.
for sure they probably because like does Starfield really play to that audience? Maybe
Why would it need to play to that audience?
because like the Japanese gamer is like very different in terms of what appeals to them. Like that audience
Oh,
is more of a mobile audience. So it's just like Starfield being this vast, like open. Well, I guess if they pair with xCloud, that could be a way of like getting in.
while it is the what you call it,
Tokyo Game Show.
TGS Tokyo Game Show. I could see if this was 92, 93, and we didn't really have the internet, they would be showing Japanese, things that are geared more towards that audience.
Mhm.
Um, we're in a what's the word I'm looking for?
Like globalized world.
Yeah, like everybody's gonna be watching this. It's not just people in that region,
True.
so they may not lead with things like Avowed and Outer Wilds Worlds 2, things like that.
Mhm.
We're gonna see everything. They can't afford to be holding back games just because they think this specific region isn't gonna like it.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's gonna be like holding back games. I just feel
Yeah.
like they might have to edit their lineup to more so appeal to this audience because like if they just show the avowed stuff that we saw before, like a lot of it would just be I can imagine that might be sort of a update conference or update showcase from what we got from game show. No, not the game show. Gamescom.
Yeah.
So in terms of new stuff, I feel like they have the potential of leaning on their Japanese and Asian partners more so to like appeal to the audience. Because like really and truly, if they go with their like standard showcase or whatever, they're probably
Hmm.
not going to see any additional subscribers because those people, as you said, has already saw the stuff from Gamescom and
Yeah.
Starfield's out. So like if they wanted to play that game, they'd probably already play that game. Like it's not going to be new to them to be like, oh, that's interesting. Let me try this out. So like that's why I'm kind of
Mm.
like they would have to show something that'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know Genshin Impact is on Xbox. Let me get an Xbox now or whatever. Or let me get Game Pass. Like I think like it'd be something like that. But I put in the show notes like it's possible that we could get Final Fantasy VII remake finally on Xbox.
Mm.
Like because well, Final Fantasy 16 is exclusive for PlayStation, but
Yeah.
that I think that was a timed exclusive, and it's been a couple months since Final Fantasy 16 was released, so it's possible it was like a couple months exclusive versus the year-long exclusive or years-long exclusive that Sony and PlayStation signed. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating right now. But yeah, like for them to say that they're going to show a TGS has me thinking like, okay, they must have something to show that's going to be something impressive enough to be like, oh, okay, so they really are trying to appeal to that market. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. All right, number 8. That TMNT movie was so successful, it's getting a video game sequel. This comes from Kotaku by way of thing is loading by way of Isaiah Colbert. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are in the midst of a comeback of sorts, or at least a little renaissance. Nickelodeon's big summer animated film, TMNT Mutant Mayhem, is getting a video game tie in set in the movie's universe that promises to combine the film's bold, painterly art style with a funny story and energetic, energetic, energetic ninja team. There we go. Saying the wrong word. All right. Not much has been revealed about the upcoming TMNT game, aside from the players taking control of the turtles interacting with the movie characters like Rocksteady as they take on a new mutant threat in New York after the events of the movie, according to IGN. We don't know the developers behind the game yet. We do know that the game is being published by Outright Games, the same publisher behind licensed games like Peppa Pig, World Adventures,
Fire.
Transformers Battlegrounds, and Ben 10 Power Trip. No, there's a period there. The TMT game will come out in 2024 on unspecified consoles and PC. Um,
So I'm looking at those games that they published before, and I'm thinking this ain't gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
this ain't gonna be for the older crowd, and they're gonna play it and be like, "What is this crap?" I'm curious how quickly they're gonna push this game out to capitalize. Like this they had to be in pre-production already to kind of try to capitalize on the movie, unless I don't know. It's gonna come out. It looks
Yeah,
like they're
I
working on a series as well for Paramount Plus. Who the hell subscribed to that? I don't know. But they're working on a sequel film as well as the game and a 2-season series. So maybe the game will come out around the time of the next film or the series.
yeah, I'm looking at I'm about to just show this gameplay for Peppa Pig World Adventures because I
Hey
think
man,
it is very important that we set our expectations for this game. Because I think when I first saw this headline, I was like, oh snap, it's gonna be great. And then looking at this, I'm like, oh snap, it's gonna be moving characters on screen.
mm.
So okay, let's go ahead and just play this bad boy. So yeah, so this is Peppa Pig World Adventures, guys. Um, we need to set our expectations really low for this game, like really, really low.
Don't set any expectations. Don't even look its direction when it releases. It's not for you.
It's definitely not gonna be for.
For anybody interested in this, they need to be waiting for the last Ronin video game, and even
Yeah,
then,
you're right.
that's being put out by Nickelodeon. I doubt that's going to be a Ghost of Tsushima style. I'm not expecting much from that either. So,
Yeah,
just leave it in the
yeah.
past.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Speaking of past, let's leave that one in the past and get into our next
I can't stand you.
thing, which is YouTube is testing bite-sized games on desktop and mobile. This comes from Engadget.
So I've
By
been testing
way.
this. So, no, I'm joking.
Oh. I would have believed you outright. I would have just completely believed you. So this article is by Lawrence Bonk. It's a cool name,
Mhm.
Bonk. YouTube is launching an in-app platform for bite-sized games, adding to the ways you can interact with content on the popular video service. Sadly, this is no full-fledged cloud gaming experience. Think of it more like Miniclip living inside the social video site. This is an experimental offering, and as such, only available to select participants or beta testers. How to know you've been chosen? Open up YouTube app and look for playables. Look for a playables tag alongside content on the home feed. For the lucky few, games work on both desktop and website. or desktop website and mobile devices. So yeah, so there's no published list for these games. What they have found is that there is right now a game called Stack Bounce, which is also found on Google's Game Snack service.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is interesting. Is this, Sean? Is this a way of Google trying to salvage whatever they can from Stadia?
Nah, this is something different.
You
The
think
issue
so?
with Google and a lot of other tech companies, Google specifically though, is the way to move upward, your upward mobility in that company is tied to generating fresh new ideas, not
Mm,
fixing and refining the old stuff.
yeah.
And they don't have a unified vision or I don't know about mission statement. They don't have a unified, mission for the company. They just got rid of something Nest related, and they're shutting down like the services for uh I want to say Nest Secure. There's something, but basically one person may be in charge, and they'll be like, "Ooh, I like this thing." They'll buy a company, or they'll come out with, you know, whatever type of service.
Hmm.
They may get promoted or leave to a next company, and then somebody else may come in and they don't care about that thing, so they pull resources from it, and it just goes to the wayside. If
Right.
it's not search, YouTube, Maps, or Gmail,
Like their
uh,
big like tentpole
yeah, they
companies.
don't give too much of a damn. Let me see. Yeah, search, YouTube, Maps, Gmail, Google Drive, and Photos in the Play Store. That's about it.
Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting in that YouTube is adding another pillar to their giant video platform. And
Mm,
it's like, okay, if it works, cool. But this isn't, I don't look at this and be like, oh, this is gonna be a new platform for gamers to play games. I think this is just gonna be a side thing while you're watching a stream of, I don't know, Westy play DMZ or something. So I definitely don't see it as like it being that much of a disruptor for
yeah.
the industry. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Um I think I think that's it for the game news. We can now jump into what we have been playing. All right, Sean, what have you been playing?
Yeah. I've been dabbling in Apex.
Hmm.
Nothing really new there. Just I've given DMZ a break because it just ain't fun no more. That game has turned super toxic. It is turned into, and I mean, we've been complaining about this for a while now. Just six-man
Yeah.
squads, roving death squads, and they just talk trash, call you all types of slurs, and they act like they're better than you because they ganged up on you, in a tank. It is what it is. So, I mean, I've kind of gotten
Yeah.
off of that. I've jumped back into Final Fantasy 16, and man, the way I almost say the way that they talk to black people in the game, but it's not black people. It's branded,
Yeah.
aka bearers. They talk to them like
Yes.
it's 1750 or I don't know. We were here 1776, so let's call it 1850. Like just
Oh
it
man,
is disgusting, and I'm surprised Clive hasn't just backhanded a few of the people in there talking to him crazy, treating him like he's a regular slave. Don't they know he's Django?
bro,
He's
it is wild. Like it is, yeah. Like I still remember my time playing that game, and it's very much just like, Jesus, guys, like come on now.
this is um. eh, Square said they weren't going to put any black people in the game, but by golly, they really did.
They did. They said we're not going to put any black people in the game, guys. Hold
But
on.
if you want oppression and discrimination, we still know how to serve it up fresh.
We got you guys. Oh
But I
yeah.
mean, I just got Ifrit, and I mean I'm just working my way through the games. I mean
Mhm.
that's that. What you been playing?
So I have actually three things, but mainly two big things. I have beat Armor Core 6, my guys. I've done it. I have become, well, I guess, started the Fires of Wraithen. This
What?
this
Explain that.
game. So the game is called Armor Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. And it's just like, all right, well, what's that? What's that Fires of Rubicon? What's that mean? And okay, do I want to spoil it? Is it that big of a spoiler? I'm trying to
Nah, don't
think.
spoil it. Then don't spoil it. You could.
So
If you want spoilers, join the Discord. He can tell you there.
right, yeah. So I will say that, like, in okay, so I'm gonna go in review mode. I totally love this game. It was a very hard experience. I will probably say that this is probably the hardest game that I've played and beat to date. Trying to make sure that is a
Harder than Elden Ring.
accurate statement. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Like Elden Ring, I will say the one thing, like Avery say, like Elden Ring is not hard. It's just you have to
Put in the
figure
time.
out, yeah, like a thing that works for you and do that. And it's like totally get it, because my ding for Elden Ring was always like the combat does not feel that involved. It doesn't feel that engaging. Like the parry windows are just completely
Unforgiving.
asinine. Yeah, and it's just like the guys wind up for like 4 minutes and then they attack you and do like 80% of your health, and you're just like, there's no way I was supposed to dodge that other than knowing the exact time to parry. And it's like that's not intuitive. Like nothing about this game is intuitive. And I think jumping from that into Armor Core and like just having my baseline knowledge of Armor Core helped to some point, but like a lot of it was like learning the timing and stuff. And I would say like the timing window and all that stuff was very easy to pick up. It's very easy to learn and understand. Like, all right, well, this is what I need to do. And I think making making the game teach you how to play and then pairing that with having the ability to tweak your armor core after you die at a checkpoint,
Mhm.
it's like it's the perfect match of just like figuring out a build that works for you and then like using that build and actually conquering whatever boss you're fighting. I think
I wonder if I can
gameplay,
play the trial. Curious. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I would recommend, if you can, trying this game. Like if you have any interest in it, pick it up, because I think it is definitely worth the, at least to me, I think it's definitely
Hmm.
worth the going through the process of like fighting a boss over and over and over again and like learning how the boss works and just like conquering it. Story wise, I was very surprised with how impactful the story was and how like invested I became with the characters.
Right.
Mind you, this is a game where you see no faces at all. This is a game where you only listen to characters by way of like comps and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was a point where something happens and you get introduced to this character and you're kind of with this character for a majority of the game. And like there's a part in the game, like, so there's like three parts where you get to make a decision in terms of you pick a mission to do and that will influence what happens in the future. I made a decision early on and I was like, oh, that was weird. I don't know what's gonna happen here. And it's kind of progressed. And then I had another decision like near the end of the game. And I literally had to put the game down and be like, nah, I I honestly cannot pick between these two missions because both of these characters are important to me. And I'm just like, I don't know what I want to do.
Did you just
So
roll a dice?
I no, I just slept on it. I literally slept on it. So the next day I woke up
Jesus
and I
Christ.
was just like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna pick option one. And literally at the start of the match, one of the characters like, so you've made your decision. And that was the last I heard from that person. I was like, ah, dang.
You son of
So like I
a.
played, I beat that mission, and then the next mission, essentially, um I had to go meet that person that I basically was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go your route, sorry. And that was that was like the hardest fight. I don't want to post a video because that's going to be a spoiler,
Yeah.
but like that was the hardest fight. Like I literally felt like I was Krillin fighting Goku at like after he just figured out Super Saiyan.
You
And it's
shouldn't have
just
been in
like
Warzone.
right? I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this. But like the character was so fast, and like their strategy was basically to boost behind you and then do like a melee attack. And it was like at that point, like you've never run into like an enemy that does that. Like you have to just kind of think on your feet. You have to like sense when the attack's going to become that it's going to happen. You have to dodge and like basically just be as quick as you can and like figure out what's happening and adjust to that. Yeah. So the game is just it's just great in that level. Like if I were to if I were to have any complaints for my time with Armor Core 6, I think I wish that there was more parts
Mm.
because that was one big thing that Armor Core really like played up on was like there's a number of like different parts you can put on your AC and like you have a bunch of different options you can do. And I feel like it seems like this feels like a reboot of the franchise, but not
Mhm.
just from a story and game standpoint, but also from a parts standpoint. So it there's a lot of parts, but you get them you get like a good number of parts in your first playthrough, and then you get more parts after you beat New Game Plus, and you get more parts after you beat New Game Plus Plus. So you
Here's
have
the
to
thing.
beat this game 3 times essentially to get out all the parts.
You gonna do that?
I think so, yeah.
I was
Because
gonna say,
even
here's the thing with more parts and all that. Um, as games get better, as far as graphic wise, graphical fidelity,
mhm.
they have to simplify things like what you want. Otherwise, we're gonna have games like I'm looking at Starfield. Apparently, it was a 8 year development time. Uh, GTA 6,
Yeah.
10 year
Yeah.
development time. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how long they took to make this, but I don't.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
totally
it
agree.
would have been.
And then the other downside about that is
Yeah.
because because this is a FromSoft uh game and the way they structure their multiplayer is just kind of
Mhm.
like, hey, look, you can just go online and just jump into a room and fight people. Like there's no real ranking system. There's no real like putting
Mm.
people in bucket in terms of skill level. So the first time I played, I thought I had like good enough pieces to compete or whatever. But then like I jumped into a multiplayer match and like it was literally watching a Dragon Ball Z fight in front of me. And I'm just like, I guess I
Oh,
gotta go in there and fight them. And it's just like
you were the
missiles and
main character.
lasers. Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, oh shit, I am TN right now. I'm just like, I'm watching Goku Vegeta fight, and I'm just like, there's no way. There's
So you
absolutely
don't
no
see
way.
yourself playing this multiplayer long term then compared to
Well,
Gundam, do you?
I don't know. I think for sure I am probably in a better space to jump into multiplayer right now,
Mhm.
especially with the parts I have and the fact that I understand the game a lot more than what I thought I did before. So I haven't jumped into multiplayer, but I think like I'm probably going to start like messing around with that. Like, because like right now I am, I don't know, what 10% through New Game Plus, yeah, New Game Plus.
Mhm.
So I I think I'll just probably jump into multiplayer now and just kind of
Is
mess
there
around a
more
bit more.
story with New Game Plus?
Yes. Thank you for
Oh,
asking.
okay.
So, specifically, one thing is that when you first play the game, you play a mission where you team up with two other ACs and you basically just storm this base and you destroy these like radio reactive or whatever. And at the end, you fight an AC that is just kind of like, I just have to defend this thing, guys. Like, just why are you guys doing this essentially?
Mhm.
But in New Game Plus, you get halfway through that mission and then you get a comms or like intercepted comms from the base essentially that you are fighting, and they're like, hey, we will pay you double if if you kill the two ACs that you are teamed up with. And it's just
What do you
like
do?
I was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, sure. Money is money. So I turned against the two ACs. The first time they beat me because I wasn't built for fighting ACs. Like I had weapons to like destroy the little grunts and stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came back and like I fought them and beat them. I was just like, is that gonna change other stuff and like later on? So like that definitely kept me more engaged to play this game again. And like I think New Game Plus Plus, there's even more changes that happen. So there's 3 endings in total. So I think as you play, you'll get the 2 other endings. So
Oh, okay.
it has me invested.
Uh,
Uh,
Unfortunately,
but
it is not on Game Trials, so I can't
oh,
play it until I come to your house. But you know what they do
dang.
have?
What?
Lawn mowing simulator.
Oh, snaps. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, I've
It's
added
over.
it to my library. Anyway, go ahead. I'm
All
talking shit.
right. The last game I just want to talk about. Well, actually, yeah. So Tears of the Kingdom. I finally beat Tears of the Kingdom. As much as I talk about Armored Core 6 and I love Armored Core 6, Tears of the Kingdom is looking like a solid game of the year choice. Like a game of the year like winner.
Mm.
It is it's amazing what the team the Nintendo team has done with this game, and that Link is a silent protagonist and he says absolutely nothing. And it's just like having to rely on the other characters. Like they build cool moments of like um I don't is it I don't want to spoil that either. I don't
Nah, I don't. I'm gonna get it
yeah.
in like 3 years when the Switch 2 comes out.
Well, you'll forget this for sure. But anyways, like the last battle is like one thing that I heard about like people talking about the end of the game is like they didn't necessarily like the fact that you don't really do any like building, like you're not
Yeah,
using any of the Zonai stuff to like beat the last thing. Is like I get it, but like
you
they also
shouldn't
give
have
a
to.
reason. Yeah, yeah. They also give a reason why you're not doing that, and it's like okay, that kind of makes sense. But like the last battle is so like it is so
Chef's
what's the
kiss.
word? Huh?
Chef's kiss.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I the last hit, like because like Shreen was watching me play, and the last hit, like you kind of hang there and you have a chance to do kind of whatever you want to do. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this special. So I did my little charge attack and I was like, this is for everyone for Hyrule. And I like swung,
Mm.
but I didn't charge it up enough. So it didn't completely kill Ganondorf. And it was heartbreaking for me. It was heartbreaking for Shireen. It was heartbreaking for Link because we are like, oh, I guess we gotta do this again. So I just hit him again and killed him. It's just like, oh, even
You
though I
should have hit
messed
him
it
with a
up,
thousand
it was
years of
still
death.
I, I should have. I really should have. But yeah, like yeah, it is just it is such a great experience. Like I think I've put probably probably 250 hours in that game.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I think I need to check my clock, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was around there. And I haven't even done all the side missions, so that game is huge. Again, there's no need for DLC for that game. Like seriously, there's a bunch of hidden stuff in that game. There's a bunch of stuff you can do in that game. You'll be good for a year and plus. Yeah, so that's the 2 games that I beat. The last thing I want to say is I started up Baldur's Gate 3, so I'll be having some stuff to say about that come next week. But yeah, that's it. We did it. Yeah, did it. All right. Oh, I got a little burpee. Oh no, I got a little burpee. Oh no. Oh wait, it's no. Oh. We'll see what happens. This has been an episode of the Press X Star Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as you enjoyed making it. Don't forget, you can leave us a review on the podcast services you are currently listening on. Yes. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. We greatly appreciate you doing all 3 things. Don't forget, you can join our conversations where people are calling us nerds because we like to talk about games in a timely manner. You can join our conversation at pressx2start.com/discord. So do that. And don't forget to play games because it's always there for you. Either rain, shine, thunderstorm, hurricane, tornado, flooding, games. They're always there. So play them. You can... my wife is fighting in the kitchen upstairs. All right. Bye, guys.
Later.